I'm going to talk a bit about sprayable fairing compound now. We've got US paint sprayable fairing compound here. It's a very heavy product, basically used for profiling fairings, which you might have already done with fog on a boat. You can use it to trowel into the pinholes at the end, just to pick them all up so that the pipe will doesn't suck into the fairing, or you can just spray it on in big heavy coats to give yourself something to longboard down to pick up that final bit of fairing detail. Now, the only way to really apply sprayable fairing compound by spray gun is by pressure pot. You use it up fairly quickly too. You sort of put on about a litre per square metre per coat. So you go through it very quickly. So you use a big pressure pot as a rule. We used to use a 10 litre pressure pot to put this stuff on. If you try and use an airless, which may seem sensible because you can put it on so much quicker, unfortunately the fillers in this product lose their integrity in the pressure that's used in an airless at the tip. Now, an airless spray gun to put this stuff through, you'll need about 2000 psi, which unfortunately breaks down the integrity of the fillers and turns it loses the integrity of the paint. It goes too hard, you can't sand it. It's a very sandable product usually. If you do that, it can't be sanded. So a pressure pot is the only way to go. You need to use a very big orifice too to get it through the tip. You need 110 thou to 160 thou size orifice. I'll try and give you a close up of that size orifice, but you can imagine it's about 1/8 of an inch. So the critical part of the sprayable is mixing it up properly to start with. It's quite difficult to get out of the can and to mix properly because it's so thick and dense. You've got to spend a little bit of time to get your mixing done correctly and thoroughly. Hand mixing is practically a waste of time with this stuff. You spend 3/4 an hour a can on it. So you need to get either a pneumatic or an electric stirrer, and be careful not to let it all lose all your resin out onto the floor. Be careful, take your time, and stir each tin, getting all of the residual off the bottom and the sides, and box it all up into a bigger can. You'll see the motion that I'm using, I'm running around the outside of the can to make sure that the heavier product on the outside of the can gets mixed into the middle. I'm running around the bottom of the can, getting all the heavy pigment off the bottom. It's good practice to always pull your stirrer out of one part of the mix, put it into your vessel or somewhere else into a cleaning solvent, and just clean your stirrer off before you put it into the next product. Within a 2-pack system like so, if you just transfer your stirrer from one to the other, if you don't use all your product, you've basically contaminated it with the curing agent. So it's going to go off and get all lumpy, so it'll basically be useless. So just clean your stirrer off. If you're really worried about it, and give it a real good clean in a jug of solvent. Other than that, mix it up. These aren't taking too long because I give them a bit of a stir before we started filming. Get the full kits, dip them into a bigger vessel. Won't be able to get all that out. I'll show you in a minute how to get it out. Now, the sprayable fairing compound, you need to thin between 20 and 25% with epoxy thinners in order to make it sprayable. So we've just made up an 8 litre mix. So what we'll do is, in order to get all the residual out of these cans, is we'll put our thinners straight into these cans, stir them again, get it all off the sides, and then tip your thinners straight into your product. Alright, we've got 8 litres of product. We'll mix this with about 2 litres of thinners with 25% mix. And as I said, we'll tip it into these bases. And then the converter. Stir all the residual out of the cans with the thinners. We want to stir our base and convert it together before we put the thinners in. Now, if we were going to use this sprayable to trowel up the pinholes straight on the bog, we would not thin it. We just leave it at full strength, and I'll separate some off before we take this up, so that we can do a demo on some troweling. But yeah, so straight up for the troweling, when we're spraying it, 20 to 25% thin. Okay, we'll give you a bit of a look at the setup for this sprayable fairing compound. We've got a Binks Bolos BBR spray gun with a 157 thousandths of an inch diameter orifice and a DP26 setup. You can see the size of the orifice there. It's very, very large. It's the largest setup that we use for any of the products that we use. I don't know if you can see that very well there, but it's very, very large and deep. And we've got our mixed product. We won't need to strain it. We're going to use the 10 litre pressure pot. The size of that orifice, there's no point straining anything. Everything we strain out is smaller than that. Orifice will stop bringing through anyway. So we just go straight into our big pressure pot and away we go.